Nigeria is one of the most complex societies on earth, a nation of immense talent, extraordinary resilience, and remarkable diversity. Yet it is also a country where public opinion often appears contradictory. The same policy may be praised by some and condemned by others. The same action may be considered justice in one context and injustice in another. Why does this happen in one of the most complex societies on earth? And what can these contradictions teach us about Nigeria and about divided societies everywhere? Nigeria's public discourse is often characterized by selective outrage, political inconsistency, and competing narratives. Many citizens observe that similar events frequently provoke very different reactions depending on who is involved. Political affiliations, ethnic identity, religious background, regional loyalties, all can influence how people interpret the same facts. But beneath these apparent contradictions lies a deeper story. A story rooted in history, psychology, economics, and power. In 2009, Nigeria introduced an amnesty program for militants in the Niger Delta. Thousands of former fighters received training, education, financial support, and opportunities for reintegration. The program helped restore peace and significantly increased oil production. Yet critics argued it rewarded criminality. They questioned why those who carried weapons received benefits while law-abiding citizens struggled. Years later, Nigeria launched rehabilitation programs for former Boko Haram members who surrendered. These initiatives sought to de-radicalize and reintegrate individuals into society. But many observers noticed something unusual. Some of the strongest critics of the Niger Delta amnesty appeared less critical of rehabilitation efforts in the northeast. Others reversed their positions entirely. Why? Was it about principles or politics? The answer may involve a combination of political interests, regional loyalties, media framing, and human psychology. Fuel subsidies have long been one of Nigeria's most controversial economic policies. In 2012, attempts to remove the subsidy triggered nationwide protests. Millions marched. Labor unions mobilized. The nation came to a standstill. More than a decade later, a much larger subsidy removal occurred. Fuel prices rose dramatically. Transportation costs surged. Inflation increased. Yet public resistance was noticeably weaker. What changed? Some point to protest fatigue. Others highlight political realignment. Many emphasize the role of elite influence, media narratives, and changing public expectations. The lesson is not that Nigerians suddenly changed, rather, context changed. And context often shapes political behavior more than principles alone. Nigeria's diversity is one of its greatest strengths, but it can also create powerful social divisions. And context often shapes political behavior more than principles alone. Across the country, people often evaluate events through the lens of identity. Psychologists call it in-group bias. People naturally defend groups they identify with. This tendency is not uniquely Nigerian. It exists in societies around the world. Psychologists call it in-group bias. People naturally defend groups they identify with and judge outsiders more harshly. In highly divided societies, these tendencies become magnified. Another paradox appears in public attitudes toward wealth. Many Nigerians express frustration about corruption. Yet individuals displaying extraordinary wealth often receive admiration, even when the source remains unclear. Why? Part of the answer lies in economic hardship. In societies where opportunities are limited, success itself can become the primary measure of value. Questions about how success was achieved sometimes become secondary. Economic inequality and institutional weakness can make it more visible. To understand modern Nigeria, we must understand its origins. The country was created through colonial administration rather than a gradual process of nation-building. Communities with different histories, systems, languages, and cultures were combined into a single state. At independence, Nigeria inherited borders. But building a shared identity would prove far more difficult. Nigeria possesses enormous natural wealth, but natural wealth can create unexpected problems. Economists call this the resource curse. Political competition becomes a struggle over access. Control of power becomes exceptionally valuable, and institutions become vulnerable to capture. The result is a cycle that reinforces corruption, weak governance, and social division. Human beings rarely view reality objectively. We interpret events through identity and emotion. What appears to be hypocrisy may sometimes be a predictable psychological response to insecurity. The purpose of understanding is not condemnation, it is transformation. Nigeria's challenges are real, but they are not permanent. History shows change is possible. The future of Nigeria will not be determined by its divisions alone. It will be shaped by the choices Nigerians make. The choice to build a nation larger than tribe, religion, or politics. Because understanding the problem is the first step towards solving it.